welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Loopin Through Life. Headed yet another coaster dive today. Headed out to the Midwest this time, to Mason, Ohio, to check out one of America's most beloved B&M hypercoasters. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are headed to Kings Island to check out Diamondback.
Oh, joy. Another chance to talk about a coaster you cried on during the Airtime hills? Seriously, dude, it's not that intense. Grow a spine.
I didn't cry. I got, wing whipped. Yes, that's a real thing.
Sure, and I'm a Disney princess. Let's dive into Diamondback and find out why this thing still kicks ass after all these years.
In the heart of Mason, Ohio, Kings Island is home to one of the most iconic roller coasters in the Midwest, Diamondback. Towering above the Rivertown section of the park, this steel hypercoaster has delivered over a decade of airtime, smooth rides, and unforgettable splashdowns. And today, we're diving deep into the story of how Diamondback came to be, why it still stands as a fan favorite, and what makes it one of the crown jewels in Kings Island's lineup. Our journey begins in the mid-2000s. By then, Kings Island had already seen a wave of major coaster installations throughout its history. From the wooden thrills of the Beast to the looping mayhem of Vortex, the park had made a name for itself in coaster history. But by the early 2000s, a gap had started to form. The park lacked a modern steel hypercoaster, one that could offer massive hills, high speeds, and smooth, sustained airtime. Enter Bolliger and Mabillard, better known as B&M. The Swiss manufacturer was already a trusted name in the industry, known for their innovations in inverted, floorless, and hypercoaster designs. Their hypercoasters, in particular, were gaining massive popularity due to their height, speed, and emphasis on airtime over inversions. Parks like Six Flags over Georgia, Busch Gardens Tampa, and Canada's Wonderland had all partnered with B&M to bring hypercoasters to life. Kings Island wanted in on the action. In 2008, the park officially announced the arrival of Diamondback, their newest roller coaster, set to debut in spring of 2009. The announcement was met with immediate excitement from coaster fans, and for good reason. Diamondback would become the tallest and fastest coaster in Kings Island's history at the time. It was the first B&M coaster ever built at the park, and it marked the beginning of a new era. Construction began later that year. The location? A wooded area at the back of the park, just beyond the station for the historic Kings Island and Miami Valley Railroad. The design cleverly wove around the existing terrain, offering riders the sensation of flying through the trees and diving toward the ground. The coaster's bright red track and tan supports stood out immediately, adding a bold presence to the skyline. Diamondback officially opened to the public on April 18, 2009. At a cost of approximately $22 million, it was the single largest investment in the park's history at the time. The stats were impressive: 230 feet tall, a 215-foot first drop at a 74-degree angle, and a top speed of 80 miles per hour. The entire layout spans over 5,282 feet of track and delivers more than 3 minutes of ride time from dispatch to final brake run. But it wasn't just about numbers. Diamondback featured some standout elements that set it apart. Most notably, it was the first B&M coaster to incorporate a splashdown finale, a section of track where the train passes through shallow water, kicking up two massive rooster tails behind it. Though it's purely for show and doesn't actually slow the train down significantly, it became an iconic feature for both riders and onlookers. Another unique design element was the use of open-air, stadium-style seating. Each row is staggered, with the two middle seats positioned slightly behind and between the two outer seats, offering all riders unobstructed views. This seating arrangement was the first of its kind for a B&M Hyper and has since become a fan favorite for the sensation of openness and exposure it provides. When examining Diamondback's layout, Enthusiasts quickly notice its similarities to another B&M Hyper, Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Both coasters feature a large first drop, a series of camelback airtime hills, a mid-course brake run, and a signature helix element in the second half. While the ride profiles aren't identical, they follow a similar design philosophy, focusing on speed, flow, and sustained airtime rather than sharp turns or inversions. However, Diamondback's terrain interaction, splashdown finale, and slightly more compact pacing help it stand apart from Nitro in both presentation and feel. As for the ride experience itself, it starts the moment you leave the station and begin your slow, steady climb up the 230-foot lift hill. From the top, you're treated to a sweeping view of the surrounding forest and park. But it doesn't last long. The train tips over the first drop, plummeting 215 feet into a curved valley that launches riders into their first major airtime hill. And that's the real signature of Diamondback, airtime. The layout consists of a series of massive camelback hills, each carefully engineered to deliver floating moments of weightlessness. Unlike some coasters that rely on sharp turns or inversions, Diamondback keeps things straightforward but powerful. Hill after hill, riders experience the sustained lift that B&M Hypers are famous for. After the mid-course brake run, the second half of the ride keeps up the pace with a twisting helix, more airtime moments, and eventually the grand finale, the splashdown. Water sprays high into the air as the train glides over a shallow trough. And though the splash doesn't actually hit the riders, it makes for a dramatic and satisfying finish. Since its debut, Diamondback has consistently ranked among the top steel coasters in industry polls. It helped boost attendance at Kings Island and reaffirmed the park's reputation as a major player in the coaster world. It also paved the way for more B&M installations at the park, including Banshee, which opened in 2014 as the world's longest inverted coaster, and Orion, a giga-coaster that joined the skyline in 2020. Over the years, Diamondback has remained remarkably consistent. The ride hasn't undergone major layout changes, though it has seen standard maintenance, retracking, and repainting to keep it running in top form. In 2023, the coaster received a new paint job with a deeper red track and bold yellow supports, refreshing its look while keeping the same great ride experience. The splashdown has become a favorite photo op, and the queue line, while relatively simple, moves efficiently thanks to the ride's high-capacity trains and dual loading platforms. Guests often linger by the splash zone to watch the trains glide through the finale, a feature that's just as enjoyable to watch as it is to ride. It's also worth noting how well Diamondback balances thrill and accessibility. While it packs a punch with its height and speed, it's not overly aggressive. There are no inversions, no excessive G-forces, and the smoothness of the ride makes it approachable for a wide range of riders. For many guests, it's their first big hypercoaster, and it often becomes a lifelong favorite. Diamondback's place in coaster history is secure. It wasn't the first B&M Hyper, and it wasn't the fastest or tallest in the world. But what it did do, exceptionally well, was combine all the best elements of modern coaster engineering into one cohesive, thrilling, and highly re-rideable experience. It struck a balance between intensity and elegance, and in doing so, became the blueprint for future installations across the country. Today, as you stand in Rivertown and hear the rumble of the lift chain, or see the splashdown from across the Midway, you know you're in the presence of something special. Diamondback isn't just a ride, it's a masterclass in what makes a roller coaster truly great. Whether you're a first-time rider or a seasoned enthusiast with dozens of laps under your belt, Diamondback delivers the kind of consistent, joyous thrill that keeps people coming back. It's a staple of Kings Island, a triumph of B&M engineering, and a ride that continues to define what a hypercoaster should be. So, whether you're chasing coaster credits, reliving childhood memories, or just taking in the view from 230 feet up, Diamondback delivers a ride that's as timeless as it is thrilling. It's not just a highlight of Kings Island, it's a benchmark for what a modern steel coaster can be. And as long as that splashdown keeps soaring and those Airtime hills keep floating, Diamondback will keep its grip on coaster fans for generations to come. That's going to be a wrap for today's Coaster Dive. Now it's back to the studio with Ryan and Ferris.
And that's going to be a wrap today, guys, with our deep dive into Diamondback. Honestly, one of B&M's greatest creations ever. The sustained floater and ejector airtime throughout. What a coaster. It honestly proves that Kings Island is up there as far as coaster parks.
Yeah, unlike you, they actually finish what they start. Remember your gym membership or that time you said you were done dating toxic people? Spoiler alert, you're not.
Either way, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that comment section down below, all that good jazz.
Do it, or I'll staple a fast lane wristband to your forehead and make you ride backlot stunt coaster on repeat. Peace out, you beautiful disasters.
Well,